so happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I am Mariano Conti, head of smart contracts at the Maker Foundation, and I will be talking. The talk is called Living on DeFi, How We Fight Back. It's mostly going to be a personal account of how me and people like me in undeserving economies like Argentina and others, how we use DAI and DeFi to take back the power and the sovereignty over our money and our finances, and not only how we survive, but how we thrive under this. So let me see if this works. A little bit about me. I, like I said, I'm the head of smart contracts at the Maker Foundation, been with the foundation since 2016. And I've helped launch both single and multi-collateral Dai. And now I'm also helping sunset single collateral Dai so that MCD can go on. I lived most of my life in Mexico, where the economy was fairly good. And I moved back to Argentina in 2011, and what I discovered was simply astounding. It was not the best time. A lot of capital controls were being imposed. Inflation was going rampant, and it was a difficult time, and it still is, as I'll be telling you. One thing that I'd like to say, and this is 100% true, is that I've never bought crypto with fiat in my life. The way I just started earning Bitcoin in 2015. In countries like these, there are really, the government tries to stop you from earning in anything other than your local currency, which, it's never a good thing. And a lot of people, in my case, tech savvy, working in IT or freelancing, we try to outsource our work to the US, to Europe, and try to get paid in a better currency, in this case dollars, and we try to bring it back to our country whatever way we can. And everything that we try, the government tries to stop it. So people use PayPal, and that became illegal. They used Payoneer, and that for a while didn't work. And so cryptocurrencies are a natural fit for this kind of thing, and for me as well. So I started earning in Bitcoin in 2015, and when I discovered Ether in 2015, I switched over to that. And working at Maker, my salary was in Ether, and the beautiful thing was that I was there to bootstrap and dog food a stable coin pegged to the USD built on Ethereum. So the moment the token we call ProtoSci, which was the precursor to even single collateral Dai, was released, my first paycheck came in that, which was really a big thing. So I've been a user of Psi and now Dai ever since it was released, and that's still ongoing, and hope it continues for the foreseeable future. And personally, my mission is I don't target just the unbanked. I also target people with money in lousy banks. And lousy was not the original word that was in these slides. But not only banks, but economies. It's one thing to be unbanked, and that is something that a lot of these projects try to fix. But never forget that there are economies all over the world that do have their own financial systems, and they kind of sort of work, but they're not what they could be. And what decentralized finance and open finance bring you is the ability to give all of these resources to more people, which, they do have a bank account, but they're restricted into what they can do with it, like what happens here. So really quick, the economy where I live right now today here in Argentina, they're mostly closed markets. The capital controls are rampant. Nobody is allowed to buy, for example, more than $200 per month. So that restricts people to, owning peso, which is continuously devaluating. That creates parallel economies where people try to get access to dollars in any way they can. Often with high fees, and inflation is very, very high at 55% or more per year. And I want to make this point again, because inflation is, it's a tax on the poor, it's a tax on the unbanked as well, but it's a tax on anybody who cannot go outside the traditional system and find somewhere else to deposit money and do trades and just hedge against this nasty thing. And there are so many memes. I'm just going to show this one. This is the Mortal Kombat ladder. You will see at the bottom there is a 2 peso bill. When I came back to Argentina in 2011, the dollar was around the 2 and the 5 peso bill. It was around 4 pesos per dollar. Right now, today, it's at 120 and it's climbing over to the 200 peso bill. And this was over a period of 9 years. And the 2 bills at the bottom, they're not even used anymore. They don't exist. The smallest denomination bill is around the not even 10 cents. So you will see that nobody wants to own pesos, and they don't. If they can, they'll choose something else. The other thing is that everybody here wants dollars, and there's like 10 or 15 different prices for the dollar. You got the official, which the government says is 65, but you can never get it at 65. If you buy it in a bank, which, like I told you, you can only get 200 of, they will slap a 30% tax on it, so it ends up being more like 90. The blue is the black market one. That's at 120, and it's where mostly everything operates. There's a way to buy bonds here in pesos and sell them in the US. That'll give you a rate of around 115. There's a wholesale one that I couldn't even find, but then there's the industry. Even in supposedly free markets, the government will force you to sell them stuff at the price they want. So if you're a soy farmer, the dollar will be priced at 45, so they will only give you 45 pesos per dollar of a ton of soy or whatever, and the same with other industries. And here, not just for us as individuals, but the way we're trying to look at it is onboarding communities, and we do this in Argentina because it's where I live and some of the team members live, and it's one of the best places to test this kind of thing, is that so many people have been drawn to DAI specifically. And I'm going to talk about DAI because that's where I work, but I'm open to anybody ditching their pesos for anything other. So unless it's, I'm not going to mention a couple, but I'm open for them to use any stablecoin that there is. But to me, the benefits of DAI is, first off, and a lot of people, from everything that I've said before, the fact that it's pegged to a known unit of account like the dollar, it is beneficial and it is important. It's, the dollar is still extremely strong, and there could be a time where you can have a token that is pegged to another currency, but that day has not yet come, and I don't believe that it's going to come for a while now. So the fact that it is pegged to USD, it's a big plus. DAI is the bedrock of decentralized finance. There was a talk earlier by David Hoffman, which I recommend that you see. It basically said that it's like the gateway of entry into these decentralized open finance products. Most of them, they use DAI as their native currency, and with it, anybody can have access to sophisticated lending, sophisticated savings, and I'm not even going to go into trading or speculating. Just not losing money. That is an incredible use case, and of course, everything that that is native to a decentralized stablecoin, uncensorable, unstoppable, transparent, and auditable. And I want to make a special mention about being instantly auditable, which is something that also attracts a lot of people. If you go to daistats.com, you will see per block everything that is happening with the DAI credit system. You will see the total amount of DAI, and here we can see the multi-collateral. DAI is now slowly being backed by other assets, not just Ether. I do expect Ether to be the main one for a while, if not ever, because Ether is the native currency of the Ethereum blockchain, and that will always make it the main asset. So almost 100 million DAI are backed by Ether, so 90% of it. Then 10% from USDC, and a tiny amount from BAT and WBTC, which was just added. And not only can you see everything and you can audit, you can go to the individual smart contracts, and you can be sure that there is $400 million worth of Ether backing MCD. There is almost $2 million worth of BAT backing MCD. Same with $14 million of USDC. And recently, there's now a little bit over 500,000 WBTC. And this has been the talk lately. And I want to discuss it as well, because risks are important to acknowledge, and I often do. DeFi risks are real, and we've all seen them. Some of them are, smart contract risk, Oracle risk, black swan events like we saw in March, liquidity crunches as well. We can have whale collusion, peg breaking, and centralized assets. But in this case, there are people that argue that the amount of assets that you can add to the system that will further improve it. In the case of WBTC, there is only 0.2% of the DAI supply backed by WBTC, right? And that is a custodian-based asset, but it is one that MKR holders are willing to risk, in this case, up to 10 million DAI for it, right? And they are the ones that will take the hit, not DAI holders. And the idea is that MKR holders will be incentivized to act in their own interest, right? So I trust the system in a way that whatever the MKR holders add, it'll be, to further, try to add uncorrelated assets as much as they can. So we will see what becomes added next. But the fact that you can go into a governance meeting at any time and go into the forums and participate, even if you have no MKR, which I know there are people who they like to participate even if they don't vote, you can be part of the decision makers that make up this whole system. I think it's one of the things that also give that make this an interesting token to have and to trade and to be a part of. Like I was saying, multi-collateral Dai, for us, if you're just a holder, you're abstracted from it, because the MKR holders are the one who manage risk and try to keep the system working properly. And like I said, the idea is to add many non-correlated assets to it. And if bad risk parameters are voted in, the ones that are most likely to lose and the last line of defense are, of course, MKR holders. So their job is to prevent black swan events. And also, as an experiment, I don't think there's anything quite like this at this time. The decentralized governance that has been shown in Maker is simply astounding. And everything is becoming more and more controlled by the community. I urge you to go and look at what's happening every week. Of course, I won't deny, at the end, this is a plutocracy. It is governed by MKR token holders, but hopefully we see delegated voting and protocol politicians. We will have a more healthy governance framework. So I just say, what can we do today? I want people and projects to onboard new users. The fact that if you use DAI, you're going to get tech savvy, people willing to take risks. And often you will get a lot of people from southern countries and South America. You got stuff like Pull Together, who immediately after launching, they got a huge base in Argentina and other countries. And, that you get a great pool of users. And like I said, they are real users trading every day, looking to hedge and escape their crappy economies. And one of the ways I think everybody can help is facilitating the on and off ramps everywhere. And every time I see somebody get paid their salary in Dai, I smile a little, because you don't even need to be in one of these economies to know that you can benefit from getting paid in a stable asset and then go into the risky ones as often as you want. And I always say that hopefully the short-term goal is 1 billion Dai, and I hope we see that this year. If I leave you with something, it's this: if you need tech-savvy users, please try to look south. There are so many, and they will thank you for it. And that is all for today. I want to thank DeFi Dad for the invite to Ethereal, and I'll see you around. This is my contact information. I'm always happy to talk to anybody. And join the Maker community. Go to the chat and go to the forum and participate in the governance framework. It is something that has truly never been tried before, and just seeing it work before your very eyes is astounding. So thank you.